Welcome. Next data mining functionality is classification and prediction. What is classification? Classification is the process of finding a model or function that describes and distinguishes data classes or concepts for the purpose of being able to use the model to predict the class of objects whose class label is unknown. The derived model is based on the analysis of a set of training data. Training data means data objects whose class label is known. So, classification is the process of finding a model that describes and distinguishes data classes or concepts, and which and the model is used to predict the class of objects whose class label is unknown. The derived model is based on the analysis of a set of training data, where the training data, the class labels are known. So we have a data set. We have a data set. How classification is performed. Initially, we have a data set. In this data set, there are many features or attributes. One of the attribute is known as class label or class. In the given data set, the class label of each object are known or given. In classification, using this known data, known class label data, they are known as training data. Using the training data, a model or a function is constructed. Construct a model or a function using the training data such that that model correctly identify the class labels when the other attributes are. So using the training data, a model is constructed. A model, also known as function, from training data set or training data. Using training data, a model is constructed. To construct this model, some algorithms are also used. Using training data and some algorithms. Using training data and some algorithms, a model is constructed. Now, predict the class of object whose class label is unknown using this model. Now, test data is given. Test data means an object whose class label is unknown. Test data. Test data. In classification, test data means the class label is unknown. Class label is unknown. We need to predict the class label of the test data using this. So this is the classification function. Using the training data, build a model. Then find the class label of test data or unknown data using that. In classification, the class label, the value of class label is discrete or known. We can use classification when the class label attribute is discrete. How is the derived model presented? How the model, derived model is presented. There are different representations, that is various forms to represent the derived model. To represent the derived model, there are different forms. Some forms are classification rules, also known as if-then rules, decision trees, mathematical formulae, neural networks, etc. We can represent the model of the data in various forms, like if-then rules. This is decision. This one is neural network or other methods. If-then rules, decision tree, neural network, etc. are different forms to represent the derived model, the classification. Now, consider decision tree. What is a decision tree? A decision tree is a flowchart-like tree structure where each node denotes a test on an attribute value. Each branch represents an outcome of the test, and tree leaves represent classes or class distributions. So, a flowchart-like structure, a flowchart-like tree structure is used by decision. Here, in decision tree, interior nodes, that is non-leaf nodes, is used to test an attribute. Non-leaf node denotes a test on attribute. Test on an attribute is represented by non non-leaf. Non-leaf nodes in the decision tree test and attribute. Age, income. These are the non-leaf nodes. Now, the branches from the node represents the outcomes or values of the attribute. Each branch represents an outcome of the test. Outcome of the test. Each branch is represented. Each branch represents outcome of the test attribute. When a test is performed on age, there are three outcomes. First is youth, second is middle aged, third is senior. So this branch represents the outcome of youth. This represents middle aged and senior. The leaf nodes represents the class label. So in decision tree, we have non-leaf nodes. Non-leaf nodes represent test on attribute. Leaf nodes represents class label. Branches represents the outcome of the test. A decision tree is a flowchart-like tree structure where each node denotes a test on attribute value. Each branch represents an outcome of test, and tree leaves represent classes or class. Decision trees can easily be converted to classification rules. We consider how this decision tree converted into decision rules. So consider this tree. There are one, two, three paths in the decision tree. So there are uh, one, two, three. When we consider middle aged, senior, when we consider senior, four. There are four paths in this decision. So we have four rules. Now, first rule is age is age comes under youth and income is high, then the output is, then the class level is class. That is, consider an object X. If the age of X is youth and income of X is high, then the class label of X is A. This is represented by this age of X youth and income of X high, then class label of X is. Now, second rule, age of X youth and income of X low, then class of X is. Third rule, age of X middle aged, then class is age of X middle aged, then class of X. Fourth rule, age of X senior, then class of X. So it is very simple to convert the decision rule into if then rules. If age equal to youth and income equal to high, then class equal to. This is the if then representation. Now consider the neural network. A neural network, when used for classification, is typically a collection of neuron-like processing units with weighted connections between the units. So these are the neurons, and there is some weight associated with each edge. Neural network is a collection of neuron-like processing units with weighted connections between the. There are other methods for constructing classification, like naive Bayesian classification, support vector machines, k nearest neighbor classification. So how the derived model is present? There are various forms to represent derived model in classification. Some forms are decision tree, if-then rule, neural network, naive Bayesian classification, support vector machines, and k nearest neighbor classification. Now, prediction. The classification predicts categorical labels, that is, discrete or nominal or unordered labels. To predict the class label of categorical variables, we use classification. The prediction models are used to predict the result of continuous value functions. That is, it is used to predict missing or unavailable numerical data values rather than class. So, to predict discrete data values, we use classification. To predict numerical data values using continuous valued functions, we use prediction. The term prediction may refer to both numeric prediction and class label prediction. But we are going to use numeric prediction for the term prediction. So, how classification and prediction are differ? Classification is used to predict categorical labels. On the other hand, prediction models are used to predict continuous valued functions. This numerical data values. How the prediction model is presented? The regression analysis is a statistical methodology that is often used for numeric prediction. Regression analysis is a statistical methodology which is commonly used for numeric prediction. The prediction also encompasses the identification of distribution trends based on the available data. Now, before doing this classification and prediction, we need to do a relevance analysis where attempts to identify attributes that do not contribute to the classification or prediction process. Before doing classification and prediction, we need to perform relevance analysis. In relevant analysis, an attempt is done to identify the attributes that are not contribute to classification or prediction process. And these irrelevant attributes are excluded for classification and prediction. Okay. So we discussed what is classification, what is prediction, how classification models are presented, the method used for prediction, then what is relevance analysis. The next data mining functionality is cluster analysis. We will discuss it in the next video. Next lecture. Okay.